Hey everybody, it's Dr. Johnny. I was asked to comment on a vegan football player named David Carter, who I had never heard of because I don't follow football. And so I went online and I looked at him, and he's a very muscular, looks like he's in great shape. He's 300 pounds, and he's a vegan football player. And people wrote to me and they said that doesn't this prove that you can gain muscle and you can be healthy and you can be athletic, and a vegan diet is the greatest thing since sliced bread? And so, first of all, I never want to criticize or trash somebody else's dietary philosophy, particularly if it's working for them. And this guy's clearly very healthy and very robust. But before we draw any conclusions for this, let's take a look at what we actually know about this guy. It's not like he's in a clinical study. We don't know what he may or may not have done in addition to that vegan diet. He did not grow up on a vegan diet. He was already a very big guy and a very fit football player before he went to veganism a few years ago because his wife was a vegan. So, and I am certainly, absolutely not making any accusations or casting any aspersions, but generally when you see a 300-pound, highly muscular and developed athlete with very, very low body fat, most of the time there have been steroids involved. I'm certainly not saying that's the case with him. We don't know what the case is with him. He may be a complete genetic anomaly. He may just have circuits that really uptake amino acids really efficiently, and they convert plant-based omega-3s into long-chain ones really efficiently, which most people don't do. And he just may be one of these kind of freaks of nature who does really fabulously on a vegan diet. But think about this. The very fact that we're talking about him, the very fact that there's only one of him, or maybe two or three, should say something about whether or not that diet really does produce those kinds of results. You know, I'm always the first to say that there's always someone who's kind of an outlier. But is that usually what happens on a vegan diet? And the answer is it's not. What you have to remember is that the word vegan, the whole idea of a vegan diet, started in 1944. And it started as a philosophy. And the idea behind it was to live a life without the exploitation of animals. And believe me, I'm right there with you. I don't like killing animals. I certainly don't want to eat any that have been cruelly farmed or inhumanely raised or any of that stuff. And I don't want to debate anybody's ethics or feelings about animals. But let's remember, it is a philosophy. It is almost a religion. It's not a health philosophy. And that I can debate. That I can discuss. Can't discuss people's values about what they will and will not put into their body because of ethical reasons or moral reasons or feelings for animal reasons, but I can discuss whether that is nutritionally sound or not. And we cannot deduce from the fact that there's this one very unusual guy who we don't know everything about, who seems to be doing great on a vegan diet, which he came to much later, you know, after adolescence, and he was fully formed. We can't really deduct a lot from that. Even the best vegan societies, the people who are responsibly talking to vegans and representing them and have websites for them, will tell you that there's at least 6 major nutrients that are very, very often deficient on a vegan diet. And many of the vegan societies actually recommend that you supplement with these things. B12, iron, zinc, vitamin D, omega-3s. They're very, very frequent deficiencies. And you have to ask yourself, if even the societies that represent vegans are recommending supplementations with 6 different nutrients, how can that possibly be a complete diet if you have to supplement with 6 different things, at least 6 different things? So in my opinion, vegan diets are not complete. They make a lot of compromises. And while they may be a useful intervention for some people at some points in their lives, and for some people they may be much better than what they were eating before they became vegans, there's no way I can endorse a vegan diet as ultimately a healthy way of life. It may be for some people at some times in their life, but as a general rule, it's missing nutrients. It has less effective omega-3s. The plant-based versions of a lot of these nutrients that vegans say, oh, you can get it all from plant-based diet, either don't exist, like vitamin B12. There are no plant-based vitamin B12, truly vitamin B12 molecules in the plant kingdom. There are analogs, there are things that look like it, but there are no B12 in the plant-based kingdom. So there's a lot of nutrients that just aren't there and that we don't get enough of. And the ones that we do get, like omega-3s from plants, are not necessarily as powerful as the ones that we get from animals. So for many reasons, from a nutritional point of view, you just can't argue with human biochemistry. You can argue with values. You can say that, there's a more ethical way to farm animals, and all of those things are very strong cases that can be made. But what you can't say is that the human brain doesn't need long-chain fatty acids, and they're just the ones that are found in plants. The omega-3s that are found in plants are not the same as the ones that are found in salmon. They're just not. So can you get enough protein to build muscle? I mean, this guy looks like he's proof of that. Again, do we know? Is he on testosterone? Are there other factors there that we're not knowing about? Don't know. But in general, you have to remember that in all of human history, there have been no societies, no civilizations, no cultures, no groups that have reproduced that have been vegan. In fact, the only group I can think of right now is Tibetan monks who live in isolation in the mountains, and they don't reproduce. So a vegan diet may be very appealing to you, and it may appear to, have benefits for the planet, but we have to be very careful about drawing conclusions from looking at one or two outliers who are doing fabulously well on a vegan diet and assuming that, therefore, that is a more healthy way to live. I don't agree that it is. This is Jonny Bowden, and if you want more of my outlandish opinions and rants, just subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the like button. This is Jonny Bowden. I'll see you next time.